everyone, thank you for watching this video. My name's Sebastian and with me I have Nicholas. Today we want to talk to you about how to build a website that's made to sell. So essentially what we're doing here is we're building a sales pitch for the web.
Yep.
And this is one of these components, Nick, that I would say a lot of businesses miss out on.
Yeah.
Because I guess for the most part they think, well, any website's going to be better than nothing.
No website.
So the first thing that we do whenever we take on a new client is we try to evaluate and assess their website.
Yep.
How marketing ready is this website? That's
Yep.
essentially what we go through.
Exactly.
So we put together this mind map, we put together this video, and in addition to that, we've also put together some templates
Yep.
to help people such as yourself go through your website and identify, is my website ready for marketing?
Yeah.
So first and foremost, whenever a business is trying to get their website ready, the first thing they need to understand that you need to understand who you're talking to.
Correct.
Right? So understanding who your customer is, and understanding what their problems are, and understanding what the positioning in the market is like,
Yeah.
is going to position and get everything ready, get the foundation ready for you to build an awesome website. Not just aesthetically, the way it presents itself, but also for lead generation.
Yeah.
Now that's an important thing. Lots of good websites out there, but for the most part, they just don't turn a traffic look, a browser into a customer.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what we're going to be talking to you about today.
Yep.
And the first part is identifying your ideal customer. So Nick, we've got here build buyer personas.
Yeah.
What are buyer personas, and how do you start with this?
That's a good one actually. Buyer personas is sort of working out what triggers a certain customer to come to your website and purchase from you. And it could be based on a number of things. The one that we mainly like to talk about because it has the best leverage or the best performance is their problems. So understanding that every person that comes to your website might have a different problem, will be able to put them into their own persona or their own category. So if you can address these issues on your website, that is one way that you can build a buyer's persona.
So essentially what it is, it's a profile of the customer.
That's right.
That makes them unique.
Yep.
Just like in a video game, when you have an avatar with a certain amount of skills and needs
right.
and wants and desires,
Yep.
we create a persona for that.
Correct.
So essentially what we're trying to do is stop looking at our market as a whole,
Yep.
and we're now trying to separate them into individual personas.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, excellent. And we're going to touch on the why in a minute.
Yeah.
But what is it about the problems that helps us identify what our personas are, and what is it? Why is it important to know what the problems are?
So it's important to know because it sort of acts as a filtration system.
Okay.
The more problems that you can sort of identify, the more angles you can come at a customer with, the more solutions you can provide that customer with. So in terms of being able to identify them with a certain problem, the following content that you may serve to them will be very tailored.
Yeah, so what you're saying is the better we get at identifying who our personas are and what problems they have,
That's right.
the better we're going to be able to know what solution we have for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we're going to be able to communicate to these people.
Directly.
Very good, excellent. So this is the insight here and the massive takeaway. What Nicholas is saying is the better we can get at identifying what their problems are, the better we're going to get at communicating that we understand their problem. And,
Yeah.
and that is the magic to all of this.
Yeah.
If you go and you have a conversation with someone and that person that's relaying that problem in a better way to you than you are to him, you're going to think he's going to have the solution.
That's right.
Just like when you go to a doctor and you say, "Doctor, I've got this problem," and he goes in and out about how the problem does this and it does that. I mean, you just stop and you think, goodness gracious, the guy knows so much.
Yeah.
He must also have a
Must
solution.
trust him, yeah.
So, key takeaway, know your problem, your customer's problem or your persona's problem better than they know them.
Yeah.
Now, why? And I guess this is probably touching into the product a little bit, but why do we have multiple personas?
Well, multiple personas, like you said, different products or different services will suit those different personas. So, someone that's got a problem, like you said, going to the doctor for the flu will have a different solution than someone going to the doctor for a stomach bug. That is essentially what you're trying to do by building these personas, because then you'll know what content, what product, or what service to serve these people once they come to your website.
Very good, very good. And that's where you'd say we'll have different columns, different landing pages, different products, and so on and so forth. Because, as I said, the biggest mistake we can make is to try and talk to everyone.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
No, we have a solution for these 10 problems, and we're the master of all these 10 problems. Give us a call if you've got any, one-stop shop. No, absolutely not. It doesn't work anymore.
No.
Okay, so number 2 here is we got the product.
Yeah.
So when it comes to building a website that is marketing ready, you need to think about the product. You've thought about the personas, which is your customers. Now the product. So obviously this should be a no-brainer.
Yeah,
right?
but it's not.
It should be like a no-brainer. If you're advertising and you're trying to sell this Rode microphone, I mean, in actual fact, there's no better way to describe it. Take a picture of the product, talk about the product, showcase the product in the best light possible.
That's right.
Now, when you have a product, it's quite easy.
Yeah.
When you've got a range of products, it gets a little harder.
Service, even harder.
When you've got a service, now we're talking. Now we're playing a different ball game altogether. Or when you're trying to sell intangible products like marketing
or software.
So the best way, I mean, this obviously requires some level of thinking, but the best thing we can recommend here is to showcase your product in the best light possible.
Yeah.
What that means is basically shine the light on your product as best as you can, because a lot of the times when people talk about their products, again, they talk blanket.
Yes.
They talk groups. They talk, we have the solution to all of these problems with our full range of products. That works well for Bunnings because that's their model. And let's just face it, they do an extremely good job. And if you have a store where you sell hundreds or thousands of products, that might be okay. But when someone chooses a product, let's say you've got 100,000 products and they've chosen this Rode product, you need to showcase that product in the best light. And to do that is you need to be descriptive.
Yes.
You need to sell that product very well. You need to have key benefits, the pros and the cons, the frequent asked questions, and so on and so forth. And also the look, the presentation.
Yeah.
So presentation is key when it comes to showcasing a product.
That's right.
And we've also have gone to the extent to say that, like I said, very descriptive. Now, I've been asked this question many times. Do long sales copy work these days? Because this is what they say to me. I don't look, I don't read, I just buy or I ring. That's all I do. Now, that there is a certain type of person.
Yeah.
The person that he goes more on gut feels. So he's looking for certain elements on the website. He doesn't need to read because he's already done some education, or he's probably gotten advice from someone.
Yeah.
So that's the type of person. But then there's another type of person that consumes content like no other.
That's right.
So you need to be able to hit these different types of personality types.
Yeah.
So the best thing we can do to do that, keep it really simple, is we say, be descriptive as much as you can, but not so much that you're gonna make someone feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Look at what Apple does, right? Apple have click to reveal more.
Yeah.
So the content is quite condensed.
Top level stuff.
Top level, sales pieces, benefits,
Yep.
features, but if you click to reveal more, it just opens a
Yep.
plethora of more and more and more content.
Mm-hmm.
So you can never be short of content when it comes to selling a laptop, for instance.
Yeah.
It's a $3,000 laptop. You're not going to be able to sell it with one or two bullets
That's
and a
right.
headline.
Yeah. It's true.
So, Nicholas, tell us what happens when we deal with a client that's just come to us and says, "Hey, I've got this $50,000, filtration equipment.
Yep.
Here's a picture of it. Off you go."
Yeah. But that's a good point, because what we try and do in a simple exercise that you guys can do at home is do a role reversal and think, if I'm buying this product, what would I want to get from this website in order to convince me that this is the best product for me? And that might be the top level information, like you said, high quality pictures to show that the product in its best light. That might be to put a video up of the product in use, so you can get a feel of the product without you actually having product in hand. And that's probably one of the best things that works in this day and age, which is the video. You want to give someone that is on your website something they can walk away with. That could be a brochure, it could be a price list, a catalog, a sheet of information, anything that they can walk away with and say, they can refer to it at a later date, and they're prompted to come back to you maybe on a second and third interaction to see, they might be ready at that point in time. So yeah, that's definitely the way that we're looking at it.
Yeah. So essentially what we're saying is that when it comes to your product, we got to try and do everything we can to give them as much information as possible. And it may mean that you need to condense it, add more to reveal more content, so it's not like overwhelming. And you're saying break down the giveaways, so that the selling still happens after they've left your site.
That's exactly right.
But you're not giving them everything at one time, so they're just like, "Oh man, this is too much to consume." So you're kind of breaking the sales funnel or the sales cycle into smaller, more tangible components.
That's right. Yeah.
Very good. I guess that pretty much sums up the product component. And mind you, we're going to have this mind map. We're going to have a link below for you to download it, for you to consume it, and for you to get a lot more detail, because there's obviously a lot of components that are going to help stir that thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, what we need to start thinking about when it comes to a product is showcasing it in the best light possible and being very descriptive about what you're going to get, what the value of that product's going to be, and then give them consumable content that you can drip feed to them over time. That is essentially what we're trying to say.
That's right.
Okay, so when it comes to design is left third in the cycle of this exercise.
Yeah.
And this is where a lot of businesses go wrong, because when they go and share their ideas with, say, a web design company, they go, okay, what do we want our design to look like? What do we want the layout to look? What do we want the styling to look? What do we want this? And the designer, they're great. They'll come up with ideas, but if they have the wrong angle to start off with, they just finish off going down the wrong path. So it's important that we get them in that order, that we understand who our customer is, that we understand what our product is and the problems are, and then we go and build on that foundation.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to design, layout is number one.
Yeah.
So for layout, it is complex but yet very simple. Complex because sometimes it's very hard for people to visualize how someone would respond to a website.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to be like that. What I'm going to say, and just to remind you, we're going to have a webinar next week.
Yeah.
We're launching our client attraction formula, which is revolutionary in many ways. Nicholas and I put together a sequence of 7 pillars that make up the campaign that's almost robust, would you call it?
Yeah.
Robust, because in many ways it's allowing businesses to add on components to strengthen their
Or
campaigns
fix what they've already got.
their campaigns. So this is coming as of next week, and we're excited about that, and we're going to be talking more about that at the end of the webinar, but at the end of this video. But what I wanted you to know is that when it comes to layout, the easiest way we can sort of communicate what it should be, it's basically understanding what their buying cycle is.
Yeah.
When they go from discovery to saying, yeah, this is a need of mine,
Yeah.
because you've locked in the problem,
Yep.
you've locked in the product that's going to help them with that problem, and then you're just feeding them content to reinforce that you've made the right decision.
Yeah.
So your navigation menu, and on that webinar, which is the reason why I brought that up, on that webinar we're going to show you examples of websites where we've done that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Where we've laid it out in such a way that, hey, it encourages people to fill out a questionnaire.
Yep.
So it almost says, I know your problem very well. I'm going to ask you some questions that will help you qualify. Then how does it, in this case, how does a treatment work? What can I expect? What about this treatment is it going to help me with? So all these questions that we're taking them down that path where the next lot of questions or the next lot of situations are all based on closing the sale.
Yeah.
Social proof, testimonial,
Yeah.
case studies, and that's the way you need to lay out a website. It's almost like you're trying to lay it out in such a way, like, for instance, Bunnings does with their stores, where when they lay out a store, they're laying out in such a way that you almost have to go through the whole bloody damn thing, go through all the aisles,
Yeah.
go through all the specials, end up at the front of the store,
Yeah.
and then you walked out with a basket full of crap that you don't need.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. I'm not saying you want to sell people crap, but you almost want to lay it in such a way like shopping centers do, or clothing stores, or even Mercedes or BMW lay out their store. Because when someone comes in, if you've got your FAQ in the wrong direction, in the wrong area, you got your contact us in the wrong direction, it's just going to muddle the process in your customer.
Yeah.
So layout is key. Think about that process, take them down that funnel, and that's pretty much all I can say. What can you add about layout?
I think you've covered
Yeah.
layout pretty well there. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we've definitely over time have sort of put together a layout that we think is the best in terms of all those aspects that you covered on before. So I think with the examples, they'll get a better idea of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to have templates as well.
Yeah.
Templates which will take you through the whole step from start to finish. So if you're looking to build a website, you're not sure about the layout, that template that Nick's put together will definitely help you with that. So number 2 for the design, we've got styling.
Yep.
Tell us about styling. What is styling? I mean, we hear it a lot.
Well, it's what you touched on before is the aesthetics of the website. I guess in this day and age, it's sort of does pay to have a very good looking website.
It does.
If it has purpose.
Correct.
So we do handle a lot of clients that are in the food industry, and that industry in itself, a lot of businesses are raising the bar with the types of websites that they have, and it's sort of giving them social proof that they're an established business, they take pride in their work, and that's probably the message that you want to communicate with a very stylish and aesthetic sort of style that you want to put forward to your customer.
Yeah, I think it's key that when you consider styling, you try to style it, lay it out, design it in a way that it's going to accentuate the product or the service.
Yeah.
So if you're selling food, you don't want to come to a website where the website is just so gorgeous, but then the images are crap.
Yeah.
It needs to bring out the attention on the actual product.
That's right.
It's a lot harder said than done when it comes to services.
Yes.
But there is ways that Nick and I have been playing with this concept, and it's working really well. We have been building matrix creating columns,
Yeah.
ways that people can quickly visualize what the different products are,
Yeah.
even though they're services.
Yeah.
Things like naming a service is key.
Yeah.
Things like giving a service some sort of money back guarantee or something so that people can say, okay, even though it's intangible,
Yeah.
if I don't see a result or it doesn't deliver, I can get my money back.
Yeah.
These things help put or bring a service product or a service to life. So we'll talk about styling and we'll show you some examples on the webinar.
Yeah.
But for the most part, thing to remember when it comes to styling is you want to bring the attention to the product or service.
And you want it to be consistent.
And you want it to be consistent,
Yeah.
correct. You don't want one page to look one way, another
That's
page
right.
to look another way,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. So, typography. Tell me more about this. I mean, this is key. This
Yeah.
is, I mean, a lot of people underestimate how important this is for web.
Yep.
Why?
Well, if people don't find the content easily
Readable.
to read, yeah, then they're not going to keep reading. That's
Correct.
That's the main thing. You've got to sort of, because you as a business owner may know top level information that might be very complex. You need to sort of maybe bring it down a notch or two and put yourself in a position where you might be a new customer coming to your business. So you sort of need to really keep that in the back of your mind when you're laying out content for your website.
Yeah, exactly. So the way you present the content, the way the content is it readable? Is it different colors? Is it different fonts?
Yeah.
Now I've gone to websites where this has been overdone.
Yeah.
Like I've gone to a website where they had italic, they had bold, they had underline.
Yeah,
It was
it's too
just
much.
too much.
Yeah.
And at that point, you lose everything.
Yeah.
So the thing to remember when it comes to typography is start thinking of keeping it to a font that's readable,
Yeah.
easy to read on a mobile device. You don't want to go anything fancy unless your market really wants it.
Yeah.
Colors, limit the colors, and try and keep the font as consistent as possible.
Yeah. Too many fonts, just it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good, and break the content into bullets, subheadlines,
Yeah.
and that's about it.
Yeah.
You know, you can change the color a little bit here or there, maybe just a gradient, a shade of it.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go from purple to yellow to green. It's just too much.
Yeah.
Way too much. So, photos and images. Now, I mean, this goes without saying, but sometimes clients find it very hard to get a product out into a showroom and take some photos.
Yeah.
We've just done a photo shoot for a client.
Yeah.
And this is going to be very helpful because let's just face it, okay, so we had a technical glitch there, the video's just turned off, but we're back now, and where we were at basically is we were talking about what we're trying to get from a photo. So a photo, as I said, we're trying to demonstrate the product in the best light possible.
Yeah.
If we can have real shots, the better it is. But if you're thinking, what do I take photos of? Like when it comes to my product or my service, is you want to try and demonstrate as much as you can an emotion.
Yeah.
You want a feeling. Have a look at what Apple does. They take a lot of shots of people interacting with the product.
Yeah.
Happy people. Look at McDonald's. Someone's drinking by the beach,
The families,
playing family. They're not going, like Corona at the beach.
Yep.
They're getting you on emotional levels. Porsche, Ferrari don't need to advertise, but Porsche does sometimes.
Yep.
What do? They show, that emotion that the guy's getting all the attention. You're in a good place in their life. So that's what you want to do. If you're trying to advertise to a group of men
Yep.
that want a better life for themselves, maybe have them playing golf.
Yeah.
Maybe have them, being close with their partner, which would demonstrate that. And even though it's an intangible thing,
Yeah.
you've just turned it into a tangible, which is what they want. They want to feel a certain emotion.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so that concludes design. Now, call to action.
Yeah.
Call to action, I mean, it gets thrown around a lot these days, Nick. 3 years ago,
Yep.
barely anyone knew what a call to action was. So, and I think it's one of these things, because everyone knows what
Yeah.
call to action is, they almost think, I've got this covered.
Yeah.
And what happens when they've got this covered? We see some funny business sometimes.
We do, yeah. The call to action on the homepage is different to the other pages, and
Exactly.
sometimes non-existent. So
Exactly. So first thing that we got here is, what is your goal?
yeah.
So tell us, Nick, what does it mean? What is a call to action, and why do we say, what is your goal?
So for your business type, you've got to work out essentially what the end goal is. It could be getting someone to fill out a contact form, booking consultation, doing an assessment, an audit, coming out doing an on-site audit. You really have to work out what that is, and then that needs to be consistent through the whole website.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Now, this is one of these things that will change,
Yeah.
right? Because as the agency learns what people are responding to,
Yes.
then they will be able to create a call to action that suits that target audience.
Yes.
So, like Nicholas said, you know, it's okay to start off by saying, my call to action is for someone to call me.
Yes.
But then you realise that your phone doesn't ring.
That's right.
So then you bring it down a notch and you say, well, maybe my call to action should be for someone to fill out a form.
Yes.
And then once you start filling out the forms, then you can have a call to action on the emails,
That's right.
which could be, give me a call.
Yeah.
So you need to start thinking about that call to action in a way that it's not what you want,
That's right.
it's what the customer wants.
Yeah. You need to prompt them into taking action. Yeah.
Yeah. So your goal is, you know, in the sales mentality, it has always been, you know, get some sort of engagement.
Yeah.
That's all it was. That doesn't get a sale or close someone on the phone. It wasn't that. It was getting engagement. And what that means is basically, you know, have them turn around and say, okay, give me a call in a month's time.
Yeah.
That's an engagement.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean that they've bought, but they've open to the opportunity to buy, maybe because they've told you to call them back.
Exactly right.
So start thinking in that mentality, how can I break this in such little tangible bites that give me an inclination that people are responding.
Yep.
And we're moving and we're going down that rabbit hole.
Yep.
Make it easy for people to see.
Yeah.
And as Nick said, you know, sometimes people forget to put it on certain pages. Sometimes people don't put it in certain pages, only having on the home page.
Yeah.
The best thing that we've noted works really well is to have call to actions that match the product and the story to the product.
Yep.
So if you're selling this road product and it's $100 product, the call to action is pretty clear.
Yeah.
Buy to get shipping free.
Yep.
That's the call to action. You don't need to have anyone call you or download a brochure.
That's right.
If you're selling a service, web marketing services, and you're trying to get people to engage with you, you've built your website, you're talking to personas, you need to know who your persona is.
Yeah.
So if you're talking to a person that has issues with organic traffic,
Yeah.
then the call to action would be get this SEO audit.
Yes.
No brainer. So if you've got a, let's say you have a law firm and you're trying to attract more customers. Well, let's say, for instance, you've broken your personas into certain groups and you say, well, family law is one of the issues. Then you might have a landing page that talks about not family law because that's too broad.
Yeah.
You might dig into the niche within family law, which could be, you know, dealing with a breakup.
Yeah.
You know, how to settle your finances with your ex-wife.
Yeah.
How to protect your kids, or go down that rabbit hole really deep and then say, here is, 5 questions to consider whenever going through a divorce to be prepared for what's about to come. And you can give them some highlights and ideas. Now what's happened there is you've created a call to action that's unique to that persona.
That's right. Yeah.
and it's within the landing page that talks to that persona, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So when it comes to call to actions, biggest mistake that businesses make is they say, give us a call, all good to go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They rely just on that one, yeah.
Yeah. Which is fine, but hey, if you want to take things up to the next level, get really niche and maybe go down to the extent of saying, you know, you can call Adrian, who happens to be our family law expert.
Yeah.
That would work a lot better than give our practice a call.
Yeah.
Okay, so call to actions, I think we covered that well enough.
Yeah.
So optimizing for better for performance.
Yeah.
So Nicholas, take us through what this exercise is.
Yeah, so websites, like everything else in marketing, obviously are based on performance. So you really want to try and optimize your website or try and better it by looking at some certain key things that we've sort of narrowed down to help you sort of, I'd say, better the website, but you want to sort of understand how your users are behaving on the website, which will help you build call to actions that are unique, personas that are unique. And the one of the top one that we've got is go through your analytics to see how a visitor interacts. So you can see what page they've come into, you can see what page they've gone to from that page, how many interactions they've had, which will show you to see that if your content is insightful, if they're really crunching what you're giving to them. You can see, obviously, if you're tracking your call to actions, you can see how that's being interpreted by a user. So going through your analytics is definitely one big part. Then you've got bounce rate, which is probably one of the major ones that Google's just sort of hit hard at the moment. So you want to see how your bounce rate is. If people are opting out of your website too quickly, then obviously maybe the layout is not right, or the styling or the structure or what content you're offloading to them first is maybe a bit heavy. So, you know, really looking at the data and interpreting it helps to how you can set out and lay out your website so that, you know, your text is flowing, it's insightful, the content that they're getting is, you know, exactly what they want from the website. So I think, you know, paying a lot of attention on optimizing your performance of your website is key.
Well said, well said. And there's another factor to this, because once you get the bounce rate right, based on what you've gotten from the analytics readout, the next point to this is to make your website sticky.
Yes.
So what this means is basically you want to get people to come and spend as much time on your site.
Yeah.
The more time they spend on your site, the quality score of your website goes up.
That's right.
Google sends you more customers,
Yeah.
and life is just better in general. So what do we do typically to make a website sticky? If we take on a client and we see that their website needs work, and we've identified that the bounce rate is really high, what do we do?
We, like you said, we go through that audit, we go through the processes of how we feel a website should be laid out. A sort of, I wouldn't say it's a sort of a hack, but video. You know, if you've got a 2-3 minute video that's very insightful and very engaging, guess what? That's 3 minutes that someone's going to spend on your page just watching that video.
Correct.
So your time from people spending on your page going from maybe a minute has gone up to 4 or 5 minutes, and that's when Google starts rewarding you. So I wouldn't call it a hack, but video is definitely going to be one major key to keep people on your website and lower that bounce rate, because it's so engaging.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. And another thing is, you don't want your prospects to go away empty-handed.
No.
Ever. So leave them, let them go after you've given them something. Because you know, the best thing that can happen is they're going to go away and they're going to continue to read your content. That's then they're going to come back and buy from you because they thought that content you gave them so valuable.
Yeah.
So what Nicholas is saying, by making your website sticky, consider having video, consider having tutorials or things that will engage, FAQs, you know, maybe have a chat.
Yeah.
Chat is a great way to get people to stay on your site. Pops up this window and says, hey, you know, you're interested in asking me a question? Yeah, sure. But the next thing, remember give away something for them to take on and continue that journey. So I guess for the most part, that is the closest thing that somebody can get, can do to get a website well optimized. The next component that we want to talk to you about when it comes to building a website is what CMS, what content management system. This is what people usually think of when they think of building a website, things like WordPress or Squarespace or Joomla, Drupal, and this is fine. This all depends on what products you're selling, whether you're selling an e-commerce, whether you're selling some content, whether you're a law firm, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. So this really plays into a big factor, what you're trying to do. But things to consider are things like, will it rank well? Is it easy to use? Is it constantly evolving? Does it load well? And here's another thing, is there a talent pool available? Because there's technology out there that it's very hard to find talent. Things that we're seeing are popping up really quick and are doing really well. Shopify's huge. Shopify's huge, heaps of plugins, heaps of ways to grow that. Unfortunately, it's very limiting to what you can do as far as template designs are concerned. So something like WordPress is ideal for that, because you can do just about anything and everything you like. It's ranked easily. The problem with WordPress is that it constantly needs to be evolving and growing and changing. So what that means is outdated templates, theme templates, outdated plugins will eventually get your website hacked. So whenever you introduce WordPress to your website, consider having an ongoing maintenance program. A lot of businesses don't get this, so they pay hosting. They only pay hosting. Their website crashes after 2 months, gets hacked, and they're like, what happened? I thought I was paying hosting, I was protected. No. There's a lot more that goes into maintaining a website like WordPress. And what's happening today with SEO and websites are both becoming the one thing. Recently, Google's just come out with a new algorithm change that has hit a lot of mobile websites and has brought the quality score down.
That's right.
They haven't told us why. We've just seen a lot of websites go down in quality, and what happens when they go down in quality? They get hit with high click costs.
That's right.
So if any of you are running ads and you're finding what's happened to my click costs, why have they gone up so high? That's why. Okay, so things to think about: style, e-commerce, are you selling products, are you selling information, and this is going to help you determine what sort of website you want to use. Now, as far as SEO ready, now, it was a no-brainer. Nicholas and I were putting this mind map together, and today, every website that you build, you need to have SEO in mind.
That's right,
Because Google, if you're going to drive Google traffic or Facebook traffic or any type of traffic, they're going to crawl your website. And in the crawling of your website, they'll be able to identify what you're about. They'll be able to come up with keywords that you reference to, and if they match, they'll be able to match the description of your pages to see if they're relevant. And if you don't score well, what happens?
High click costs, quality score goes down, everything else is affected. I think what we've been noticing is that Google, because they're such a powerhouse and they're the money makers in all this, they are trying to make business be more proactive and make them have a whole system solution rather than just have one or two elements in terms of marketing. And unfortunately for a lot of businesses, they are getting hit hard, but that's sort of our way to tell you guys to be more proactive and to have all of these pillars like we have put them in place so that your advertising is running at the best of its abilities and your website and your SEO programs are not hit hard.
Correct. It's hard for businesses because generally whenever they are talking to a marketing guru, the marketing guru is putting his hat on and he's saying, this is your problem, you need more traffic. or this is your problem, you need a new website. And the truth to the matter is that nobody really knows what it is that you need.
Yeah.
And we've concluded that after many years of doing this. So what we've done is we've put together these 7 pillars to help us, diagnose an issue.
Okay, so we've had another technical issue, but Sebastian will carry on with our train of thought.
Yeah, so the train of thought was that it's very difficult for anybody to be able to, even the marketing gurus, to be able to come in here and start saying, oh, it's traffic, or it's website.
Yeah.
So what we've sort of come up with is these 7 pillars that help us diagnose the problem, right? So we look at these pillars and we say, how is the website laid out?
Yeah.
How is the load for the website? Does it pass the SEO test?
Yeah.
Does it pass the CMS test? Does it pass the client discovery test? So we've put all these measures in place to help us identify how strong or how weak it is.
That's right.
So in doing this, it's no longer up to us. It's not my thinking or Nicola's thinking. It's really the platform. So we think that when somebody comes to you and says, hey, all you need to do is these 3 things and it's going to work beautifully, we think that is almost a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So what we're noticing is SEO is becoming a very much part of every marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Even though you may not be looking to rank organically, things to start considering are things like keyword-rich landing pages. So if you're going to have a landing page talking about product X, make sure that the keywords are all relating to product X.
Yeah.
And then break it up. If you have product Y, make sure the keywords are related to product Y, and the videos also talk about Y. Images also talk about Y. Call to action also talks about Y. So you need to go to that granular level. The name of the page also needs to talk about Y. And that's when Google says, hey, these guys have got it really down pat.
Yep.
They know what they're doing, so I'm going to give them a good quality score there. So that is what an SEO-friendly structure is all about.
Yep.
So fix broken links for SEO. This is key. If you've got pages that are broken, that also says to Google that you are out of business.
Yeah.
It's like having holes on your wall and people walking in and thinking, well, are these guys even in business? I mean, they got holes all over their walls. I don't want to deal with them.
Yep.
So Google thinks the same thing. Because look, at the end of the day, we talk about Google like it's a human. It's not a human. It's just a robot.
Technically,
and they've automated it in such a way that this thing has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
So it comes to your website, does all of these analysis, just like what we have here.
Yeah.
And then it determines how good or bad you rank. So I'm happy with this. It took a little longer, but there was a lot of content here.
Yeah.
If you've watched this far, well done, pat in the back. I mean, let's just face it. Not many of your competitors are probably going to be doing this, so you've probably got a heads up on that. I guess the takeaway from this, if you're thinking about building a website, use the information we shared with you in the video, or give us a call. Nicholas will spend 15-20 minutes, I will spend 15-20 minutes, and we'll go through all of these different elements. It's fine to bring in people, because building a website, designing a website, it's the fun part. It's what everyone gets excited about, at least at the beginning. During the middle and the end, it's not like that anymore. But that's because it's a lot of work. So when someone says, I'll build your website for 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000, that's fine. It's probably a template that they're just going to slap a bit of content, throw up a few images, and you'd be good as gold. That's what they'll tell you. But if you're going to spend money to advertise, to drive business to that website, and you haven't implemented the strategies that Nick and I talked to you about today, and your marketing campaign's not working, big question mark. So, I'm excited. I'm excited because of next week's webinar. Nick and I will put all these to we'll bring this all to light,
Yeah.
and we'll show you what all these components are, and we'll also talk about what we can do as an agency for a small group of clients, because let's just face it, we're not a big agency, and we don't pretend to be, and maybe we don't want to be a big agency either, because what makes us unique, what makes us different, is the fact that we can hone in on the problem and do it a lot better. So, you know, my vision, my dream has always been to work with businesses that require that extra effort. So, hey, you know, in many ways we're a gourmet, you know, restaurant.
Yeah.
If you need more cookie cutter type of approach, there's plenty of agencies out there that do that sort of thing.
We're into unique selling propositions.
We're into unique selling propositions, exactly. So let's maybe, unless you got anything more to add, I'm happy to leave it there. And
lots of templates and free content and information for you guys next week.
Yes.
When we launch. So plenty of stuff to get your feet wet as well, and sort of put it back on you guys to see if you can answer all these questions and these activities, and see where you guys rank in terms of marketing and your website and everything. So it's going to be fun,
Yeah, exactly, because this will be a diagnosis they can use themselves.
Pretty much.
Okay, so until next week, thank you for watching and have a great day.
Next.